We are in the early years of the 21st century. The world is changing rapidly and will continue to do so. The younger generation will be facing new conditions they will have to live in and new technological tools they will have to master. How do we prepare them with the skills they need to address current challenges and challenges that are yet to come? Skills taught in schools help determine a person's success or failure in life. Public education is an important avenue to maintaining a prepared workforce. It's necessary to ensure that public schools are training the next generation in skills that would help them solve the world's current and future problems. But how do we define 21st century skills? These are skills that help a person to cope with the increasingly complex challenges of the world and use that complexity to thrive. Education is intended to help a person feel comfortable with the world enough to know what direction to take their life in spite of challenges they faced during childhood. According to Barracher and Scarmadalia, the skills that help people thrive in the 21st century require a person be well informed, fair in evaluation, honest with personal biases, willing to reconsider, diligent in seeking relevant information, reasonable in the selection of criteria, and persistent in seeking results which are precise. With the advent of social media, communication has become more person-centered rather than idea-centered. Short messages without the benefit of conversation cause people to drift away from reflective thought. Skills that help people thrive in the 21st century must counter the trend towards person-centeredness and allow reflective, idea-centered conversations. There is evidence that fragmentary communication found in social media is contributing to the decline in the ability of people to do sustained integrative thinking that can focus on ideas and help readers to process complex texts. Also, real life requires that people not only obtain knowledge, but be willing to act upon it in creative problem-solving ways. So what are three 21st century skills schools should teach? One such skill is resilience. It helps people overcome the world's problems. Resilience implies high efficacy or confidence in one's ability to handle a problem. Strong efficacy helps students become highly motivated to achieve goals they set for themselves. Resilience promotes achievement by increasing attention, memory, engagement, and commitment. Also, efficacy works at the group level when group members encourage each other. Seeing fellow students exhibiting the skills of resilience can encourage children to cope with problems productively and to foster hope for success. Research indicates that every week, 15% of school-age children who have urgent needs do not get the help they need. However, many of these children go on to have successful careers and lives. Resilient students show the following characteristics: confidence in their ability to learn, positive attitude towards school, pride in themselves, high expectations, and optimistic temperament. It has been proven that strategies to mold the behavior of children are more enduring if they are integrated into the school support systems. To encourage self-efficacy in the classroom, classes must be orderly with small class sizes, there must be caring student-teacher relationships, effective peer relations, and academic self-determination. Another important 21st century skill is cognitive persistence. Some psychologists think behavior is determined by our thinking and is initiated and regulated by plans. Persistence and self-regulation allow people to absorb and process information which can be transformed into creative, problem-solving products. Evidence indicates that cognitive persistence can be exhibited through pursuit of understanding, comprehending long texts, following extended lines of thought, and sustained creative effort. However, researchers note that obstacles to cognitive persistence are present in modern media, which reduces discussion to sound bites and programs distractions into internet surfing. A third important 21st century skill is media literacy. Such literacy is useful in a technological world full of social media platforms, the internet, and vast amounts of news channels. This skill helps people avoid misguidance and false information. It helps people to evaluate and process conflicting messages so they can make wise decisions. The younger generation's use of social media to communicate have brought up concerns about the long-term effects on their health and emotional well-being. There is evidence to suggest that social media is leading to changes in social norms. It is important that young people be able to discern authentic information from misinformation. So how do we teach these three 21st century skills in schools? Resilience requires both a structural and individual approach. The classroom structural approaches were mentioned earlier. Individual approaches include model good problem-solving methods and communicate to students that academic ability is improvable. Other approaches include emphasize that the lesson is relevant to reaching the goal, make sure learning goals are clear and possible to reach in the near future, begin work at the student's level and proceed in small steps, and stress comparison to self and not to others in order to see personal progress. Teaching cognitive persistence requires students learn to self-regulate. Teachers can do this by teaching students to set goals, monitor themselves, and self-evaluate their own progress. Encourage intrinsic motivation by talking about the value of education, and at least once a year have students read long, complex texts and assess them for understanding. Teaching media literacy skills requires students to engage in deep cognitive processing. Teachers must provide opportunities for students to use media to practice critical thinking and production skills, help students to identify what they know about a topic in media and help identify erroneous beliefs, and analyze the effects media had on historical events. The three 21st century skills of resilience, cognitive persistence, and media literacy will prepare the younger generation with abilities to cope with yet unknown problems. These skills will also help them engage in idea-centered discussions and use integrative thinking to evaluate media sources from which they can solve challenges creatively. My references include academic journals and textbooks. Thank you for viewing my presentation.